These are the days when truly the Eagles are soaring. Established and respected in the First Division, a match for all comers, a club of championship potential. Full of fire and flair, but always with a special relationship with all their supporters. So many memories then, as Palace have steered an erratic but exciting course up and down the Football League over the years. Here we remember those heady days of Don Rogers in the 1970s.
And now he's confronted by another. Rogers again, and a goal! Don Rogers!
The Fedora days of Malcolm Allison. The goalkeeping days of the faithful John Jackson.
A curler, a header, and a great save by Jackson from Ritchie.
Those will-o'-the-wisp days of Vince Hilaire.
So it might come for Hilaire, and it's a goal by Vince Hilaire.
Up to the reign of Steve Coppell. And the exciting era of Wright and Bright.
Onside, bit of space for him, hit with the outside of the boot. Right, yes. Palace have scored.
8 matches through the 70s and 80s and into the 90s that reflect the ups and downs of a warm, friendly and now highly successful football club. First, that famous day in December 1972 when Manchester United were well and truly humbled. Bert Head was still the manager, a Palace team that inevitably had John Jackson in goal, Paddy Mulligan and Tony Taylor. Earl Blythe wore the number 6 shirt. David Payne in midfield. It was Alan Whittle's first game. Charlie Cook from Chelsea, and the star of the show, Don Rogers. And what a day it was.
Buchan. McDougall, the layoff for Tony Dunn. And McDougall has gone sprinting in there, and Blythe will have to go with him. And Taylor in trouble, and more! And a great save by John Jackson. Beautiful piece of play by Tony Dunn, though, a lovely swerving cross that McDougall and Moore very nearly capitalised on. And Jackson in the end making a great save, and now Cook pressing Buchan hard. David Sadler, seen little of him so far. Young. O'Neill to Brian Kidd. Donald, or rather Philip. Mulligan. Don Rogers. Oh, nicely inside the full-back for Mulligan. Here's a chance, and a goal! Scored by Mulligan, but made beautifully by Don Rogers. Mulligan's goal, and his first for Crystal Palace. And he was sneaking in there, but it was the pass by Rogers that made it. So United kick off again. A goal down. And it's with Ian Moore. Straight into the path of Rogers. Now here's the chance again to make another one. Just across that goal. Stepney getting a despairing hand to it. And United all over the place. It looked very much to me as though Stepney got a hand to it. But a goal kick has been given. And United really were all over the place. Mulligan. Hughes. And Mulligan again has gone up the wing. There's the ball for Mulligan. They're playing some good football now, Palace. Hughes storming on. And it was Kidd, a striker, who had to come back and bolster that defence. And it's Hughes again with the corner for Crystal Palace. Hit low again. Payne. Blythe was right in there. Payne. United holding off them. Whittle now with a shot and a fraction pass and pushed there by Stepney. And Whittle so close to adding number 2 on his first appearance. And Manchester United simply don't know which day it is. Charlie Cook. Scorching forward again. Whittle had moved offside, came back onside. Hughes, a lot of space. Still Hughes, still Hughes. Whittle, a save by Stepney. Hughes really was threading his way through. And now it's the turn for Ian Moore to thread his way through. Still with Moore, and stopped by Jackson, and I don't think he knew too much about it. Moore waiting to come on. Jackson shaking his head because he doesn't know how he saved it. And now Palace getting it away to Rodgers. Such an eventful afternoon again at Selhurst Park, and a free kick to Crystal Palace. They want to get Dennis Law on. So Burkhead in the dugout there on the right of the picture. Well satisfied. He was saying to me earlier this week, this is the best Crystal Palace side that I've had here. And indeed he spent £500,000 on it this season. Philip, Payne. And onside, yes, Hughes is onside. He didn't look it, but the linesman said he was. And Hughes has his shot saved on the line by O'Neill. He got back so quickly, and in a way I think it was justice because he looked offside. Brian Kidd. Wyn Davis. And good play there by Bobby Bell. Now the chase is on. Rodgers going faster than any of them. Still with Rodgers. All played inside for Mulligan. And another goal! Paddy Mulligan's second. Made for him by Don Rodgers, just as the first one was. And Paddy Mulligan, the skipper and the fullback, turns a striker twice to such very good effect. The ball from Rodgers, and Mulligan, a fairly simple task. Whittle. Rodgers, and he's onside, Don Rodgers. 6 in one side now. That's there. That's number 3. Tremendous presence of mind by Don Rodgers. Made for him by Alan Whittle. But Rodgers, in a way, doing a Pele. Turning it one side of Stepney, running the other, and then finding the net to put Crystal Palace 3-0 ahead. Well, that was a great start to the second half for Palace. Really in the driving seat now. United, if anything, getting more to grips with this game when they were 3-0 down than when they were 0-0. More taking it up again for them. This time for Morgan. And with Tony Young right in there as well, but Payne's challenge beating him. Whittle coming in, and now Rodgers away again. Well, he got him going one way, got him going the other, just over. That would have been a marvellous goal by Don Rodgers, because his running was so sure, and he really turned Sadler inside out, and then saw Stepney leaving a gap on that far side and aimed for it. Law, Young right in there, Sadler in there too. And instead it's Rodgers now. Oh, there's a chance for the break. Rodgers going the length of the field. And still going on. And he's got the pace to get beyond Buchan. And the shot. Well, that was a tremendous run again by Rodgers. But still a great afternoon for Crystal Palace in spite of the concern on the face of manager Bert Head. And Whittle goes on. Hughes. Whittle. Well, that's incredible. Yes! Alan Whittle! Alan Whittle! His first game and his first goal. There was still no challenge in that United defence, and Whittle and Hughes between them had time to work out what they were going to do, and Whittle finally curling it past Stepney. 4-0. Coming in for Palace, and this has been their greatest afternoon. And there's Rodgers. Will this be 5? It's going to be 5. It is 5. Rodgers his second, Crystal Palace his 5th, and that is utter and total confusion and demoralisation for Alex Stepney. The look that tells everything for Alex Stepney and for Manchester United. 5-0. Rodgers second, and a beautiful goal it was.
5-0 to Crystal Palace. Just under 40,000 were in Selhurst Park for a day always foremost in Palace's history. But 2 months later, much the same side scored another thrilling victory in front of another noisy crowd of 32,000 against the excellent Stoke City side of that time. Derek Possey had arrived from Millwall and was playing only his 3rd full game. Martin Hinshelwood wore the number 8 shirt.
Cook. Good looking cross there by Cook. Possey! Oh, bad luck for Possey there. That was a lovely cross by Charlie Cook, and Possey, as he did so well for so long at Millwall, darting in on those near posts. But desperately unlucky there for Crystal Palace. Cook to Bell. Chase that, it says, to Don Rodgers, and Rodgers is chasing it. Touched inside there for Hinshelwood. Is a chance, and a shot and a save by Farmer. Very nearly screwed it under Farmer's body from Martin Hinshelwood. Pedrick. Robertson, well, he played that straight to Whittle. And now Rodgers is away. Now this is the chance. Rodgers against the goalkeeper. Oh, and he foozled it. Now against Manchester United here, he took those like bread and butter. And he foozled one against Sheffield Wednesday in the Cup replay here as well, and he's done it again now. Alan Bloor. Again off the knees of Philip. Skeels to Easton. Conroy. Played again there for Mahoney. Good piece of running by him. That looked a bit like handball, but it's with Easton. A curler, a header, and a great save by Jackson from Ritchie. That looked as though it had to creep in just by the far post, but the green jersey of John Jackson hurtled across the goal to keep it out. And again, Rodgers is gone. Possey, time to tee it up, and a fine goal! Possey, 1-0. Played beautifully through the centre of the field. And the pass, as it came to Possey, gave him time to pick his spot, and he picked it to perfection. So 9 minutes to go to half-time. Derek Possey scores his 3rd goal for Crystal Palace in this vital relegation match. Robertson again, turning it in. Blythe. There is tremendous coolness amongst that number 5 and number 6 in the Crystal Palace defence, Blythe and Bell. Really do seem to have no nerves when they're under pressure in their own area. And here's Taylor getting out of a spot above the well. Finding Rodgers. Now Palace beginning to move. There's the pace again of Rodgers. Tremendous acceleration and control. And a lovely pass again to Posse, which he couldn't quite control. But he's got Mulligan in support. Well, he'll get another chance. Played now this time for Mulligan. Hinchelwood. Mulligan. Pejic is very close at hand, so Mulligan looks for another angle, finds it, Posse jumping, a back header and Marsh getting it away. Hinchelwood right in there. Played back for Phillip. And now once more for Mulligan. Crossed again for Whittle. Oh, a tremendous goal! Tremendous header by Whittle. A low cross, and Whittle found tremendous power for that header. 2-0. What a header! Conroy. Fair looking cross there by Conroy. Ritchie nodding it back again. Cook miscuing. Blythe nodding it away. Taylor putting it back into trouble. Hinchelwood turning back. Oh, and almost an own goal there. But for the acrobatic lead from Jackson from Martin Hinchelwood. Well, someone who spent a lot of money this season have been Crystal Palace. And the man who's sought the players is Bert Head, pointing there. But it's all beginning to come right for him. Oh, poor ball. Straight to Robertson. Phillip just stabbing it away. Oh, but it's only gone to Mahoney now. Now with Robertson again, Marsh supporting him. Robertson's cross. And Blythe's header away, but this time Marsh. Palace not really getting this ball away. So Robertson gets another chance with a cross. Being forced wide and forced to Eastham. Quickening it up with the quick cross there, floating in. Green off, and a goal! Jackson furious about it, and there was a deflection off one of his defenders. But the goal you've got to give to Jimmy Greenoff. And that really puts Stoke City back in the game. 2-1 down. Ritchie. Let's put a little more enthusiasm into Stoke City's play as well. Whittle and Ritchie having a maul on the ground there, but now Robertson with a chance to cross another deep one again towards Greenoff. Conroy. Eastham on the outside again. But that time Mulligan getting in again at the expense of a corner. Quickly taken by Eastham, and very well indeed as Pejic goes in. And Pejic goes in again. Hinchelwood with a chance to get away, to give relief to the defence. Rodgers now, a touch on for Whittle. Played again for Rodgers. Marsh is covering him. But now if Rodgers can attack him, he might have a chance. He's got past Marsh, and now he's confronted by another. Rodgers again, and a goal! Not Rodgers! His confidence has come storming back, and Rodgers has scored another inimitable goal. He went by Marsh, he went by the man who filled in behind him, and then he put it past Palmer as well. So Smith having his boots inspected, or his studs rather, by the linesman. And John Ritchie is going off. So an orthodox striker goes off, and I'm sure Dennis Smith, who's a defender, is probably coming on to try and make one or two things happen in that Crystal Palace penalty area. Robertson neatly going past the challenge of Charlie Cook. Greenoff. Played for Marsh. That's towards Dennis Smith and Bobby Bell. Looked as though he was going to leave that a little too late, but he knew his timing all right. And that goes behind for the corner. The linesman says Tony Taylor doesn't agree, but Stoke have taken it, and it's with Marsh. And a great goal! And a great goal there by Dennis Smith, the substitute who came on as an out-and-out gamble when they took Ritchie off. And the linesman getting a bit of booing on this side of the field now, because the Palace supporters felt that it wasn't a corner from which the goal came. But the corner came over, and Smith made the most of it. Tony Taylor almost onto the roof of the stand with it. Another throw to Stoke City, and it's they who are doing more of the attacking now. Bloor coming up to add support for it, but Blythe cutting it out. Taking it one side of Bloor and running the other. Mel Blythe leading the charge now. Hinchelwood. Now Whittle. Stoke with a lot of players back though. Still with Whittle. Now for Rodgers. Crowd like that. And he's got his cross in as well. Very nearly pushed into his own goal by Farmer. When you give this fellow, Don Rodgers, a little bit of rope, Farmer would, I'm sure, endorse it. We really are in trouble in defence. Now it's Rodgers, with the crowd 100% behind Crystal Palace with their call. Hurling in again, and against the crossbar. Whittle trying to get the rebound in. Posse too. Hinchelwood going in, and Stoke somehow or other getting it away. Cook. Still Cook. Still Cook. Still Cook. No! Took it too close. What a tremendous game. Rodgers. Hinchelwood. Miscue. Well, they've had some tremendous games here at Selhurst Park this season, and happily the big match has been here for one or two of them. But I really believe this one, for sheer tension, beats the lot, because there is so much at stake for both sides.
3-2, the final score, but that was one of only 5 victories by Palace in the second half of the season. Sadly, they finished 21st in the First Division and were relegated to Division 2. Don Rodgers finished top scorer with 13. Bert Head moved to general manager to make way for Malcolm Allison. And next season, this Palace side was relegated again. But here comes a rare victory scored against Bristol City in March 1974. Paul Hammond now in goal, Stuart Jump, Jeff Johnson, Roy Barry, Derek Jeffries, and the new star Peter Taylor, who went on to play for Spurs and England. He was among 30 different players tried that season.
Posse away again. A little toe poke there for Don Rodgers. Whittle is waiting in the middle. And there's the one towards Posse with the header! Run by Rodgers down the right. First time cross, and Posse just a fraction too high again with his header. And the fact that Crystal Palace are showing this form must be down to Malcolm Allison on the left there. The Bristol City manager on the right is Alan Dix. Jeffries. Blythe. After a poor start, the game really has livened up. Mulligan going right in there. Whittle is in there too. Here's Posse. Whittle again. Nice ball there by Whittle for Don Rodgers. Oh, just over. Cashley just got a hand to it. Rodgers, such a superb, clean striker of a ball. Hit that well. Cashley just fingertipped it over. High ball towards Posse. Posse did well there, turning it in for Rodgers, and Rodgers took it past the number 11 at Manuel, and Whittle had the chance, and it didn't quite fall for them, but Johnson is still in there fighting. So Whittle thought that the opening was there for him then, and it was foiled at the very last. Whittle getting round Emmanuel and getting his cross in well. There's Posse. So Derek Posse has scored the goal that breaks the deadlock. The ball went well for Whittle. He beat his man well. The cross came over, beautifully placed, and Posse, who lacks inches so often in those situations, lifted himself so well and scored his 5th goal of the season. And the first of the afternoon for Crystal Palace. against Mulligan. Getting past Mulligan. But not completely past him, and so it's a free kick. So these are the moments when Palace must concentrate most of all. These are the moments when Bristol City will try to counter-attack, when they feel Palace might relax just a little bit their concentration. Drysdale with the long raking free kick. Blythe getting it not too far away. Tainton and Taylor getting it away, but only as far as Gow. And that's Taylor again with great enthusiasm. Bouncing nicely for him. And away he goes, Peter Taylor. Gow came back well. Good play by Taylor. Here's Jeffries. Free kick. No, play on, says the referee. Another good decision. Whittle trying to go round them all. And a penalty. So the referee gives a penalty to Palace when Whittle is brought down in the area. Can Don Rogers make it 2-0? Yes, he can. 2-0 to Palace. A smile from Rogers, playing that ball carefully into the roof of the net. And that is 2-0. Gillies, a nice backward flick. And Don Gillies again. It wouldn't bounce for him, but here's Emmanuel. Played wide again towards Tainton, and there's the cross stopped by Jeffries in a corner. A lot of good action now. There's the substitute, Clive Whitehead on the left, stripping off. Alan Dix, the manager's come down now, helping him off with the tracksuit bottoms. A corner then for Bristol City. Again, that great inspiration, Roy Barry leads them all and gets it away. But here's Gillies again, pumping it in once more. Blythe is there that time. And there's Ritchie. Oh, and he hit the crossbar. Barry gets it away. Well, that was desperately unlucky there for Bristol City. Tremendous shot by Tom Ritchie. And now goes Rogers away. And still Rogers brought down. And that's got to be a free kick. And what a game now we've got. And it's Tom Ritchie, the man who just hit the crossbar, who's going off. Going down the tunnel. No, he's into the bench there. Well, I wonder if that one had gone in, whether Alan Dix would have changed his mind about substituting him. But it's Ritchie who's off, it's Whitehead who's on, and it's Palace who are 2-0 up, as we are halfway through the second half now. Peter Taylor with the free kick. Again, Pussy going in! Yes! Very Pussy! The goalkeeper Cashby got a hand to it, but it's 3-0. Taylor's header. Whittle. Elbows by Roy Barry on Keith Fear. A free kick to Bristol City. Here's Jerry Sweeney. Tainton going along outside him. So it's with Trevor Tainton, and there's the cross. It's a difficult one, and Whitehead has put it in. 3-1. The substitute is on with a brilliant goal at the far post. As that cross came over, Whitehead rose above them all at the far post, and that makes it Crystal Palace 3, Bristol City 1. Good piece of play there by Tainton, finding Whitehead, but Whitehead well beaten by Mulligan. Good positive defence by the Irishman there. Good ball by Rogers, and a nice dummy there now for Whittle. Is this goal number 4? No, it's not. Question is whether Cashley got a hand to it or not, and he did. So Whittle was through. What a lovely move again, a superb dummy there by Posse that let Whittle in, and Cashley just got a hand to it.
But 3-1 to Crystal Palace was the final score. The manager, Malcolm Allison, was always very positive about the future. But what did he think of Palace's potential?
Well, the potential of Palace is the same as Liverpool. I remember playing against Liverpool when they were in the second division with 15,000, 16,000. And if Crystal Palace have a run, you know, and get into the top of the second division and into the first division, you know, they'll have 45,000 people there.
Well, by the 1977-78 season, Terry Venables had arrived as manager, and the club's fortunes were taking an upswing. This team got the season off to a good start with a splendid victory in August against Millwall at the Den. Peter Caswell made one of his 3 appearances in goal. Peter Nicholas, Kenny Sanson. At number 4, none other than George Graham, Arsenal's manager. He made 43 appearances for Palace at this time. Jim Cannon, Ian Evans, who later became coach, Vince Hilaire, Nicky Chatterton, Jeff Bourne, Steve Perrin, who made a few appearances, and at number 11, the unpredictable, spectacular Rashid Harkouk. They were too good for neighbours Millwall.
Except the Palace goalkeeper in the Millwall half of the field. It's all a bit crowded there. There's not a lot of space, and it's a throw now to Palace. Well, at the moment, it's not the sort of game that would have you clamouring at the gates to come in for the next instalment, but Kitchener had to get up well there. Was Perrin trying to get in on the blind side of him with that cross, and Kitchener using his height to very good effect, as he's done for so many years here. Just nodding it away for the corner. Signal there from Chatterton. And a goal by Ian Evans. It's an old trick. It so often works. Millwall well and truly caught out. Beautifully flighted corner there from Nicky Chatterton, and just look at the space that he had, and nobody could get to that height. Ian Evans, hard and downward, 1-0. Given away again, here's Sanson. Bourne. Chatterton. Little chip in again there towards Perrin. A nice header by him. Harkouk is there, and a good save by Johns. Perrin doing well to get that ball into Harkouk, but how well he did. It looked as though it was past him, but those long legs stuck out, and it took a little bit of acrobatics from Nicky Johns to keep it out. Phil Walker. And now Perrin, given away there by Chambers. Oh, and here's Harkouk. And it's saved superbly by Nicky Johns, and whacked away that time by Tony Hazel. Harkouk pouncing on that one superbly, and Nicky Johns at 6'3", needing all his stretch to get to that one, did so, and Hazel finished off the job. And Sanson after Hazel, but Hazel nonetheless finds Chambers. Nice touch in there for Brisley. Laid in quickly there towards number 10, Ian Pearson, and it's Jim Cannon now striding away, and a lovely ball played here in a lot of space here for Jeff Bourne. Just look at the space he's got. Can he use it? A dive, she's brought down by Walker, and not a penalty given. It's the old thing though, if a player very often does himself out of a penalty, it seems, if he accentuates it. For a lovely run here by Harkouk. Just wide. Got a corner. But undeniably a brilliant break there by Crystal Palace, and what a superbly timed run by Rashid Harkouk. And he got tangled up a little bit just inside that box and poked it just wide. And Palace now about to bring on substitute Peter Wall. Really good defendable fullback. And it's, in fact, believe it or not, Rashid Harkouk who's coming off. And away goes Perrin. Hazel with it. Ken Sanson with the throw. Here's Bourne. Again, good turn, good skillful turner on the ball is Bourne. Sheridan hitting it well, but hitting it straight at Chambers. Wall playing it short for Nicholas. Walker really had committed himself there. Perrin on the far side, getting the header in across the face of the goal. Yeah! Beautifully worked goal there by Crystal Palace. The long floating cross. Steve Perrin got up so well, a big player, headed it well across the box, and how Hilaire was in there like a flash into the back of the net from a very difficult angle. So his first full league game for Vince Hilaire, and he's on the score sheet. What a tremendous start for him. Grizzly. Now Chambers. Sanson. Perrin. And now ball. Almost a 1-against-1 there. Very deep, but if he can get past Hazel, it might open up. Now Hamilton's gone back to cover. Hilaire's gone racing through the middle. That was a good run by him, but it's with Wall instead. And there's Hilaire again. And Bourne. Well-timed run again by Crystal Palace. Perrin's waiting there. Sheridan's waiting there. And that's another goal. 3-0 to Palace. And Nicky Sheridan the scorer. And a beautiful run there again by Crystal Palace, and particularly by Jeff Bourne. Timed that run to perfection, and having got to the byline, had skill enough and sense enough to pull it back. And Nicky Sheridan coming in also had sense enough to place it rather than blast it and make it goal number 3. Sanson. We're in injury time. Played inside for Sheridan, letting one go, and what a beautiful shot it was, with a really superb save by Nicky Johns. Sheridan, of course, always dangerous, lurking there on the edge of a penalty area in midfield, and taking that ball beautifully, hitting it well. A tremendous save, though, by Nicky Johns for Millwall.
3-0 to Crystal Palace, the final score that day. And Terry Venables came into our studio that weekend to talk about his young players.
We've got a lot of youngsters at the club, not just the boys that played yesterday, and I've got confidence in all of them. And I think that they came in because Paul Inchwood was suspended, and David Swindler has chicken pox again, which is something that we've been riddled with this season. But I've got every confidence in them. They're good players.
Young players like Vince Hilaire and Peter Nicholas. To say nothing of Kenny Sanson. By the next season, 78-79, Terry Venables was shaping his side with conviction. Top of the second division now. 33,000 at Selhurst Park to see this side face Brighton. The extrovert John Burridge was now in goal. I wonder if you remember those pre-match warm-ups so beloved by the fans and the TV cameras too. Now Dave Swindlehurst to join the attack, along with Mike Elwis, a short stay after a transfer from Preston. But Vince Hilaire was again the one to watch.
Sanson. Cannon challenging, and he might win it. Well, that was very nearly a bad mistake by Gary Williams, although you could understand the ball was up in the air and he wasn't quite sure where it was. Jim Cannon was, but he hit the side of the Brighton netting. Here's Ward again. They're keeping a close watch on him because they know they have to, and it's Ken Sanson doing the work there. Oh, what about that for skill? The chase for that ball. 1, I think Swindlehurst was offside. 2, Andy Rollins lost a boot and got himself injured. And it'll be a free kick. He had been for a foul and not offside. Mark Lawrenson with it. Hit high towards Teddy Maybank. Sanson just nodding it away, giving Cannon the chance, which he hasn't taken. And Ward! And a miraculous save. Although it was offside, it doesn't in any way detract from a magnificent piece of acrobatic keeping by John Burridge. Ward was offside, but he caught it well. Burridge hit it up into the air, off the top of the crossbar. But the linesman's flag meant that a brilliant save was ruled out in any case. Played in for Elvis. That's going to be a corner. Again, Jim Cannon making his move forward. In just about the centre of their goal, in fact. And it's Hinshelwood, and it's saved by Steele. Came a long way across that Brighton penalty area, and I think Hinshelwood may be a little surprised not only to find it at his feet, but with nobody around him, tried to place it and gave Steele the opportunity of getting down to make the save. Maybank onside, and Burridge out brilliantly to save. That was a good decision by the linesman. Maybank was just onside, but how quickly Burridge came out, spotted the danger, and made the save. Finding a bit of space here for Elvis. Lawrenson coming across. Two old Preston buddies from way back. And that's behind. At the near post, Elvis is there. Hilaire on the move already for Crystal Palace. Chatterton crossing it in. I thought that was for a moment coming to Swindlehurst. It was Clark who gave away the corner. Palace pursuing a vigorous attacking policy here, penning Brighton back in the opening 10 minutes of this second half. There's Murphy's corner again. And Swindlehurst, and it's headed away by Gary Williams. Nicholas again, and a corner. Well, that's as near as Palace have got to a goal. It looks certain to be going in there, but up popped Gary Williams and headed it off the line. Elvis turning it back again. Cannon's right in there. Hinshelwood was there, and Swindlehurst will try and turn it back, and in the end it was Clark who got it away. Well, that was good goalkeeping by Eric Steele. Hinshelwood was at very close quarters. They're agonising 90 minutes for the Brighton manager, Alan Mullery, leaning forward and pointing there. He started up next to his chairman in the director's box, but he couldn't stand that for long. He's down on the bench nearer the action. It might come for Hilaire, and it's a goal by Vince Hilaire. They might have been a little unlucky, Brighton, because there was a funny old deflection there as Palace stormed forward again. It came to Hilaire, and he cracked a beautiful ground shot wide of Steele. Palace 1, Brighton 0. Vince Hilaire, his third goal this season. Oh, and it might come now for Swindlehurst. And it's number 2 by David Swindlehurst. Well, 2 goals in about 5 minutes, and Swindlehurst really a solo effort in the end. He wound his way past 2 or 3 defenders and then had the temperament to side-foot it wide of Eric Steele into the corner of the Brighton net, and that's 2-0. Might well be Jerry Murphy who's coming off. No, it's number 9. It's Dave Swindlehurst who's coming off. Unless that's the number 6. It might be Billy Gilbert. We shall see. At the moment, it's Elvis, who is certainly not coming off. Playing the ball through beautifully for Nicky Chatterton. Played inside again, and Williams will know he's missed a chance there. Now Elvis, And Hilaire! Well, it certainly looked as though Palace had messed that one up as well. Mike Elvis, who badly wants a goal, looked as though he had the perfect chance, and he took it just a little too close to steal. But it rebounded for Vince Hilaire, and the job then was simplicity itself, and it was the third goal for Crystal Palace. And it's Dave Swindlehurst who's gone off, and it's Ian Walsh, a striker, who's come on. With about 4 minutes to go. And now the game really beyond the reach of Brighton, or is it? Here's Brian Horton, and he's made it 3-1. Look at a watch that says, well, I think it's probably too late, but at least there's respectability there as Horton came swarming into that Palace penalty area, and look at the space that he had to beat John Burridge with ease. Crystal Palace 3, Brighton 1.
And Palace beaten only 4 times that season. They won 4 of their last 5 games and clinched the second division championship on the last day of the season against Burnley with 51,800 packed inside Selhurst Park. Next, we've got a bonus game for you from September 1981. Striker Ian Walsh will remember this one. It was his last season as a Palace player. 2 goals here as a reminder. It was a victory over neighbours Charlton in the days before they came to share Selhurst Park. You can see how much the names have changed. For example, Paul Barron now in goal, Steve Wicks at centre-back, Billy Gilbert's there, and Neil Smiley too.
Here's Hilaire. It in again for Walsh. Hands down. No, Hilaire again. Beautiful little bit of skill there. Close control by Hilaire. Then he tried just a little too much against Burns. And a chance for Robinson to break. Hinshelwood going, he's beaten them all now. Wicks is covering up. Burns has gone streaking through the middle. Hales is in there too. And if it comes to Hales, it's got to be a goal. And it's saved superbly by Barron. Well, I tell you, 99 times out of 100, you would have had to put Hales, the scorer, down for that one. He very rarely misses opportunities like that. But that was a golden chance for Hales, and Barron foiled him superbly. Oh, that's played in there by Naylor for Walsh, and it's a beautiful goal! Ian Walsh puts Palace ahead with a scorching goal. The ball played in there, and once it had been played in there by the Charlton defence, past the despairing dive of Mickey Johns. And Palace go ahead, Ian Walsh. Walsh, Abasson. Mitchell. Cut out by Lansdowne. Cannon was back at him, here's Smiley. Has he got the pace to beat Naylor? He has. Walsh with a header! Beautiful goal! Smiley's cross was perfection, but that was a good strike by the Welsh international, Ian Walsh, because he came in on it superbly and guided it perfectly there, just inside the post.
2-0 to Crystal Palace. By June 1989, the fans had new heroes. Ian Wright was one of them, Mark Bright another. And they'd been brought together by Steve Coppell, who had arrived as manager back in 1984. Now, this is a thrilling second division playoff game against Blackburn Rovers, with Palace on their way back to the first division. Now the names are more readily recognised by the more recent Eagles fans. Palace had lost the first leg 3-1 up at Blackburn. They needed a 2-0 victory to take the playoff to extra time. Sully. Hopkins just catching Garner there on the touchline. Aware that Garner needs to be so closely watched. The one thing that Palace couldn't afford is to concede a goal, and they might just do that here. There's Miller. That was a golden opportunity. Really a golden opportunity then for Blackburn, almost to put the whole issue beyond Palace's range. And you can see the annoyance on Ian Miller's face. Just nicked across there. No Palace defender around, and he snatched far too quickly at it. Pardew. McGoldrick. Can he keep it in play? Yes. Here's his cross, not a bad one either. Might come to Madden. Got to get a shot in, and suddenly the hordes of Blackburn defenders were descending, and it was Pendry who got it away. A foul by Gale. No, referees played an advantage. Burke for Palace. To right. Madden. Barber. Pardew onside. Bit of space for him. Hit with the outside of the boot. Right. Yes. Palace have scored. And Ian Wright, scorer of so many goals, has brought a lot of joy to South London, as you can see. Blackburn will be annoyed that they allow Pardew so much space down this left flank. Hit beautifully with the outside of the boot. A bit of a scramble. Wright got a touch as he was falling. Geno dived at it, dived over it, and the ball finished in the back of the net. A valuable goal for Crystal Palace. A good ball played in by Barber. Space for Pardew. That's the part I like. Hit with the outside of the boot. And as he fell, Ian Wright just tucking it into the net. Pemberton. Right again. Touch for Barber. Trying to get it through to Wright. It might come to McGoldrick. And somehow Blackburn kept them out, and it went behind for the corner. Henry down injured. These are desperate moments for Blackburn. They still have the advantage of 1 goal lead, but their confidence is being sapped all the time by these incessant Crystal Palace attacks. Palace free kick. Nicky Reed, very competitive in the midfield. That is going to be a highly competitive area, because nobody is more so than Dave Madden of Palace. Wright running for this one. Ian Wright hit you. Oh, a great save by Geno. A terrific strike by Wright. And Geno got down superbly. It came off the head of Hendry, and he hit it first. A real whiplash shot pushed around by the Blackburn goalkeeper. Real searching test for Hendry and for Mayle, those two centre-backs. Can Bright get in behind them? Geno's lost out! And somehow Blackburn kept that out, with 3 defenders converging on it. It almost, they almost succeeded in putting it into their own goal even then. The big old up and under there from McGoldrick, miscued there by Geno. He might well have been fouled. Getting it to McGoldrick. Oh, they got in each other's way for a moment there. And a penalty given. A penalty given to Palace. A dramatic start to the second half. McGoldrick going through there. And there was the foul by Hendry, right on the edge of the box, not on McGoldrick. And the referee saw enough to give a penalty there. And now it's all down to Terry Geno in the Blackburn goal and Dave Madden of Crystal Palace. I doubt whether he'll ever take a more important kick than this one. 2-0. And Palace are in business now. There's the look of relief on that man's face, and the look of joy on theirs. The scores are level on aggregate, and what a finish we've got in prospect now.
An excellently taken penalty under a lot of pressure, sending Geno the wrong way. Put it away that time by Sully. Barber. Atkin was in there. Here's Burke for Palace. Mail. And out by Barber. The cross comes in. McGoldrick looks to get on the end of it. Got up really well there. A long cross that came in from Barber from the left. Up goes McGoldrick. And Palace so close to that crucial third goal. Howard Gale on the far side. Miller again. Oh, Gale's got away. This could be a problem now for Palace. This could be good news for Blackburn. Good save by Suckling. Picked that so well, Howard Gale. Scorer of 2 goals in the first game at Blackburn, but it was very well stopped by Perry Suckling. Cardew underneath it for Crystal Palace. It goes right again, right there, ready to collect the knockdown. McGoldrick on the far side, just floating it forward, but yes, Cardew, corner. Gary O'Reilly and Jeff Hopkins up, the central defenders, to see what can be produced from maybe a flick on at the near post. Exactly what it is, but Henry was there for Blackburn. Madden turning it back again. Right, nice control that. And his cross is a fine one towards O'Reilly. Oh my goodness, just wide of the other post. He scored a couple of goals only this season, Gary O'Reilly, but that was so close to being the most crucial of the lot. Great work by Ian Wright. And O'Reilly hooking it just wide of the post as Bright falls into the net in anguish. Cardew. Sully. To Garner. Can he conjure up a goal somewhere? Oh, he was obstructed though by Pemberton, and it'll be a free kick. And it'll be a great triumph for Steve Coppell of his Palace side, who've really come from nowhere in this championship race. A few months ago they were lying back in 12th position, but they've had a good run in. Scott Sellers has got a delicate little left foot, and there are plenty of yellow men for him, yellow shirts for him to aim for. Garner turning it back, fisted away superbly by Suckling. What a great strike by Garner. As he picked up the ball, and it saw him now. How long? Well, there's about 3 minutes left as McGoldrick turns it in. That's made it clear now. That has made it absolutely clear for Crystal Palace with that goal from Ian Wright. The fans are on. In one sense it's not over, in another it certainly is. A great cross in, right in the clear, beyond Geno. 3-0 ahead. Again, McGoldrick. What a good crosser he is. And Blackburn taking those risks, going forward. Allow Ian Wright to get in there for his second goal and Palace's third. That's it. Palace are in the first division. An afternoon of great sadness for Blackburn Rovers. For the second successive season, they've lost out in the playoffs of the second division. But scenes of great joy and jubilation as the Palace fans say, Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal, Everton, Tottenham and the rest, we're on our way to meet you now.
3-0 to Crystal Palace on another historic day at Selhurst Park. So it is that Steve Coppell's side, now firmly established in the first division, we go to their second season at the top level, And in this season, there was a no more thrilling 90 minutes than their 7-goal game against Wimbledon at Selhurst Park in October. Nigel Martyn had become a £1 million goalkeeper, and these are the men who'd taken Crystal Palace to Wembley the previous season for that FA Cup final. Over the years, the Palace fans had had wonderful value, but rarely greater than on this day.
From off Andy Thorne. McGee hitting it well on the turn. A fabulous goal. What an amazing goal, Paul McGee. With 10 minutes of the game gone and no apparent danger for Crystal Palace. Nigel Martyn, 4 or 5 yards off his line, and little McGee turned, as they say, on a sixpence and floated one over the big goalkeeper into the back of the net to put Wimbledon ahead. A remarkable goal. Place wide for John Solano. Scales gets it away. Plenty of good, solid central defenders. It'll be a tough task for Palace getting through. And McGee needlessly giving away a corner there. And Wright first to show. Nipped in there towards Thomas! An equaliser! The skipper, Jeff Thomas, who scored such valuable goals this season, that's his fourth. And Paul McGee, who scored for Wimbledon, gave away that corner, and Wimbledon were punished for it. Wright did so well, floated in the perfect cross. Thomas was on the end of it, and Palace are level. Gray to Wright. Pressing again, Wright with a touch, flicked over by Seggers. Brighton Bright causing problems again. In again to Ian Wright, a good ball by Solano, Wright. And now Humphrey, ready to go. John Humphrey. Well, it's his first of the season. And a curious one it was. Again, a lot of credit to the battling qualities of Ian Wright. Battling away here as Seggers came out. And then it comes quite invitingly there. He sticks out a foot. Seggers can't get back. And John Humphrey scores his first goal of the season. He needs to get back now fairly quickly. Here comes Solano. Andy Gray just inside. Lets that run well. And a good ball played to Mark Bright on the far side. In turn trying to get Glyn Hodges in. Here's the cross. Solano! Should have been number 3. Terrific cross in. Good play by Crystal Palace right through their midfield, right across the field, and a lovely cross in by Hodges. Solano perfectly placed, didn't begin to get above it though. And it remains at 2-1. Right. 3. Solano. In towards Mark Bright, played down for Andy Gray. That's number 3. A beautifully worked goal by Crystal Palace. Just look at the delight on the faces of those Palace fans. They got the perfect view as Andy Gray powered in to apply the finishing touch. Solano's had an excellent match. There's his cross. Knocks it down, the break from midfield unmarked, and a punishing finish by Andy Gray. Well, to Fashanu. Fashanu, a little chip, a brilliant goal, absolutely brilliant goal. There was a real touch of class about that one. And for the second time in the match, Nigel Martins had to backpedal, but couldn't backpedal quickly enough. Beaten by a truly brilliant chip there by John Fashanu. Into the back of the net. And Wimbledon are back in it at 3-2. They don't come much better than that. Right with the cross. Flicked away by Seegers. This is a wonderful game. Hodges plays it in once more. Curl. Well, Andy Gray's already over there. We've spoken about his long throws before. And there's another one coming up now. It's the perfect position for it. He plays it, in fact, short for Wright, who'd made a good little break there. Hodges. Across to Bright. It's another one! Mark Bright. 4-2. Well, it's raining goals here at Selhurst Park at the moment. A bit of shoving going on there. Certainly Bright had to shove around for the right to get to that ball. Crystal Palace 4, Wimbledon 2. Sanchez. Scales. Might come from McGee. Not another one, surely. McGee. Splendid goal. 4-3. Some really nifty footwork there by the little Irishman. Worked again by Carlton Fairweather. Turned his man well, went round the keeper and slid it perfectly into the back of the net.
So an amazing afternoon, and the final score, Crystal Palace 4, Wimbledon 3. Later that season, Steve Coppell signed a new contract. Chairman Ron Nodes determined that Palace should retain a vital continuity. And it was a season that had many glittering moments, but for confirmation of their newfound status in front of a live nationwide TV audience, their worthy victory over Liverpool took some beating. Martin in goal, Humphrey, Shaw, Gray, Young, Thorne, Solarco, Thomas, Bright, Wright, McGoldrick. The Palace heroes of the 1990s. Nickel. It's not a bad cross. And it was McGoldrick who'd gone right back there. He took quite a buffeting from Burrows. And Andy Gray, this is a good break for Palace. 3 up, 3 back. Wright has made the break. And what a good run by Humphrey now, the fullback. The cross is in for Gray. A lovely Palace move. But in the end, straight into the arms of Bruce Grobbelaar. What a fabulous move that was.
Terrific play there from Andy Gray. Knocks it out wide. Good run from Ian Wright. Took the defender away, which created the space for the overlap. And crossed it in. And he struck it well, because that is the hardest ball to hit.
Here's Bright on the far side now. He's got round his man. He's gone round Gillespie.
It's in there. Mark Bright. Palace go into the lead. Bruce Grobbelaar shakes his head. Congratulations. Well, for the number 9, let's see here now. As Wright got the better of Gillespie, and yes, Mark Bright just tapped it in.
Yeah, great work from Ian Wright. He turned Gillespie there, cut inside, knocks a great ball in. Mark Bright does what all good strikers do, get in front of the defender and just flicked it between Bruce's legs.
Hussein. Mann. Thorne. And a Liverpool throw. Liverpool, who face a thunderous match against Leeds United at Anfield on New Year's Day. Not much rest between then and now. Palace go to Aston Villa. Here's Staunton. Now McMahon. going wide, but Nigel Martyn wasn't going to take any chances at all there. And a Liverpool throw. It'll be taken by Steve Nicol. Barnes. Alton battling away. Palace get it away only as far as Gary Gillespie. Really shouldered off the ball unfairly there by Andy Gray. It's a free kick to Liverpool. In a Barnes position, the sort he likes. There's all sorts of variations possible here. It's Mulby, and a terrific save by Martyn. So Liverpool get their first corner. Nicol plays it in towards Hussein. Good free kick that, whipped in with so much power. And here's Wright. McGoldrick, he knew he was there. A lovely cross, lifted in there by McGoldrick. Grobbelaar flapped at that one. Thomas with the shot. They were in trouble there, Liverpool, from the moment Grobbelaar flapped and didn't make any distance, and then particularly when McMahon failed to get it away. Off the referee again. Staunton playing it in towards Rosenthal, knocking it back towards Nicol. Will it come for Rush? And it won't come for Barnes either, but it comes now for Staunton. More pressure on Crystal Palace. Staunton tries to make it all the way, and in the end was foiled right at the last by Eddie McGoldrick. Good rippling little run there by Steve Staunton.
I thought for a moment he was going to get a shot in, but it was good defending.
It looked as though it was going to fall very pleasantly onto his very strong left foot. There he goes now with the corner. Gillespie up in there, Rush in there. Oh, that was an amazing save by Martyn.
Great chance for Ian Rush there. I think that, but he did what you've got to do as a striker, which is keep the ball down, hit the target, and you've just got to give credit to the goalkeeper. I never mind missing if I hit the target, because he had no time to think really, and Nigel Martyn keeps Palace in the lead.
Here's Wright. What's he going to give? No penalty. That was a great break by Ian Wright. Hussein was on his heels.
From up here, Brian, I thought the ball might have struck a hand. I don't know. I was quite a way away up here, but
you get the impression of a ball hitting the hand.
He definitely scooped it back. Well, I got away with that one, Glenn.
And the final score that afternoon, Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 0. So, just some of the memorable moments stretching back some 20 years in the life of a great football club.